the Nazi in a piece of a coat hanger. Wednesday, July 1, 2025. Today's weather is cool 81 degrees with a breeze flowing in from the northeast. The city of Hartford, Connecticut is planning for the annual 4th of July festival, while people make their way about the downtown area. A blue Dodge Charger drives along the Silas Deane Highway, heading for the City Fish Plaza, a historical open-air fish market which has been in service since the 1800s. The market provides fresh seafood for local supermarkets, restaurants, and consumer sales. What makes this spot so special is that you can also purchase the seafood prepared and cooked as a meal. So, it is not uncommon to see cars parked in the lot eating lunch. However, in 2020, the market purchased the property adjacent to their business and placed tables for consumers to sit and to relax while enjoying the landscape of Hartford. The car door opens, and Nathaniel Hunter exits the Dodge Charger and walks over to the counter. "Yes, I'd like to place an order." Nate, as he is known, is tall with an athletic build and rough demeanor about him. "Good afternoon, and how may I help you?" "I'd like the shrimp dinner with extra tartar sauce. Please, would you like something to drink with that, sir?" "No, that will be it. I have beer in the car," he said with a smirk. Nate walks to his car and grabs a beer from the cooler, places it in a cola sleeve. $20.15, sir." Nate pays the server and takes his food. There is a couple sitting and enjoying lunch while sharing a laugh. Off to the side was a man who appeared to be homeless. His clothes looked like he was sleeping in, and his hair was unkempt, with a foul odor as Nate sat at the same table. The unknown man ordered 4 slices of white bread with no crust, and a Poland Springs bottle of water. The two men did not speak, although sitting face to face as a delivery driver walked over to their table. "Nathaniel Hunter, I have a package for you." The delivery driver sat the parcel in front of Nate and handed the pad for signature to the unknown homeless man, and he signed for the package. "Everything that you need to know is inside of the package, Nate." The homeless man stood up and started walking along the highway into Wethersfield. Nate finished the shrimp dinner while enjoying a cold beer. "Commissioner, we've got a serious problem on our hands." "Calm down, Mayor Alito. Crime is down in the city." Commissioner Cortez began his career as a street patrol officer in the city's toughest section of Hartford, known as Death Valley, because there is only one way in and one way out. Authorities could be seen for a quarter of a mile before the police could even reach the complex. So, the criminals often held an advantage over law enforcement around the area, until Officer Cortez arrived and major criminal indictments for top members of the movement, the largest criminal organization in Hartford, Connecticut, changed the landscape. "I guess that you haven't been informed. We have another police officer involved homicide. Sergeant in here now." The commissioner slams the phone down and gives the mayor a look. Page 1. Chapter 2. A God for the People. "Sir, Officer Craven was answering a call for a suspicious person knocking on doors, asking for help with a stalled vehicle in which he was driving. Upon arriving, Officer Craven knew the suspect and requested identification, in which the suspect provided. However, Officer Craven was heard over his body cam stating something in the line of, 'I should have killed you back then.' Moments later, Officer Craven can be heard stating, 'Drop the gun,' and a call was placed over dispatch, 'Shots fired.' The sergeant placed a manila folder on the commissioner's desk and exited the office. "I know how this looks, Mayor, but my office can spin this situation," the commissioner assured the mayor with a smile. "I'm afraid, Bill, that it is not that simple this time around. Open your folder and look at just who is the victim," Mayor Alito said with a straight face. "Donald Bailey Jr. Sergeant, get Niles Zeal on the phone." "Mayor, I need your office to buy us some time. Reassure the public that Officer Craven has been placed on administrative duty while the investigation is ongoing. Also reach out to some of these nonprofits that we have in our pockets, because we are going to need a diversion." The commissioner stuffs a donut into his mouth and extends a handshake to the mayor. Keep me informed, Bill. As the mayor walks out of the office, the sergeant walks in. Commissioner Niles Zeal is here to see you, sir. Save the greetings, Bill. We both know that your department has crossed the line this time. Niles grew up with Commissioner William Cortez on the south end of Hartford. Niles became a deacon at the First Church of Christ at the age of 20 years. Then he would go on to obtain a degree in theology. After he became a pastor and opened the Children of the New Dawn, where he serves as founder and community advocate. Niles, there is no easy way to say this. Detectives are still on the scene. When I heard the name, I knew that you had lost a son, and I also knew that this situation would lead to a domino effect. Commissioner, you probably believe that a snap of a finger brought me to your office. Stupid growing up, a killer, murderer, and drug dealer. Did I leave anything out, Commissioner? Niles, I guess we can all hold individual perceptions and opinions. That's what makes this country so great. What I am here to say is that there is no way in which my face nor likeness should be in any manner standing in front of the people currently. Look, Niles, I am not here to go through your Black Lives Matter speech. This city has made you rich. You, my friend, bought out the Latino in me. So, from the words of a famous anonymous physicist, people pay for noise like the new car or a new house, while never answering the question why if a person will pay for a thing, anything which can be reclaimed in marriage taxes and death. What was that supposed to make sense? Niles said in disbelief. Go home, Niles, your compensation along with instructions will be forwarded to you in the next 48 hours. Believe me, I fully understand what this means. Page 2. Chapter 3. Racial grooming. Today is another scorcher with temperatures reaching into the triple digits. The broadcaster chimed over the car radio. $40 on pump number 2. The attendant at the fill-up station reiterates, as Nate hands over the money and walks out and begins to pump his gas. The order will arrive at the scheduled time. Have everyone in place. Nate calmly said over his cell phone. Not awaiting a response, Nate hung up and placed the nozzle onto the pump. The Dodge Charger drove along the interstate and exited exit 35B into the city of Windsor. There the car pulled into Meadows Park. As ducks and geese entertained the children near the pond, some had lunch under the trees to find cool air from the heat. Is everything set, Barry? Yes, Nate, we were lucky to get a hold of those authentic delivery uniforms. It should make the transition much smoother. Barry Kennard extended his hand to shake. This is Randy, he's the other guy that you requested. Good to meet you, brother, and let me say that it is an honor to work with you. Nathaniel Adam Hunter is the son of Samuel Felix Bornstein and Susie Latte Bornstein. The Bornsteins were children in Germany during World War II. Samuel Bornstein Sr. was granted citizenship due to his political connections in 1967. Along with naturalization, he brought his Nazi values. This is where the Bornstein name was changed to Hunter, and the family would then settle in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. The Hunters owned Hunter Farms and surrounding land that encompassed the valley and the river that flowed through it. Samuel Hunter served as a city councilman until his passing in 2001, and Samuel Hunter Jr. would go on to become a state senator in 2004 to 2015. The Hunters raised Nathaniel with the expectation of a political career when he reached adulthood. However, Nathaniel was more interested in past wars, guns, and the history of the S/S in Nazi Germany. When he wasn't working on the farm, most of his time was spent shooting guns or dismantling guns to see how fast he could put them back together. On the weekends, the Hunters held a community gathering where business leaders, politicians, law enforcement, along with local doctors. At these gatherings, ideas were shared and plans would be implemented to ensure that their interest would remain institutionalized throughout the community. The children would be brought into a room where they were given lessons on racism and the mechanics of racism. Then the boys were brought out to the field where they performed war games, while the girls were being groomed to become educators. After these group activities, all parties came together for a short sermon given by the local clergy reiterating God's purpose for the white race. A yellow van with delivery insignias on it heads down Sims Road, driving slowly as if looking for a specific address as it drives by homes entering the cul-de-sac. $1 million homes and manicured lawns as the van stops at a wrought iron gate with number 8 on it. A voice over the intercom requests, "How can I help you?" A woman's voice can be heard. "Good afternoon, my name is Inspector Ivan Standish of the Ready Service. I have a package addressed to Niles Zeal." Page 3. Chapter 4. Lambs to slaughter. Don, I don't know what to say. Our sympathies are with you, Tammy, and the children. Niles embraces Donald as he holds back tears. Over football, Niles, football. Donald said with no emotion. What do you mean, Don? DJ hasn't played football in years. Well, the cop that pulled the trigger. Somebody forgot to tell him that. Don, you lost me. Are you saying that this was intentional? Officer Tyler T-Rock Craven. Donald hands Niles his phone with a photo of a 17-year-old Tyler in his high school football jersey. Niles knew exactly what this photo was insinuating. Don, is this the same kid who lost the Scholastic All-State vote to DJ back in the high school days? Yes, football. Don placed his phone back into his pocket while lowering his head. Don, I will hold a press conference tonight to gather the community behind this. Because this smells like it will have cover-up written all over this. Niles said reassuringly. Thank you, Niles, but no. My attorneys have so much information along with the witnesses to corroborate the events leading up to the shooting. So, we are not going to make this about race nor police brutality. Well, Don, we will keep you and your family in our prayers. And if for any reason, call me anytime, day or night. I have some pressing appointments that I need to handle, but I should be available after 6 tonight. Thanks, Niles. Hi, honey. There is a delivery inspector at the gate. He said that there is a package that needs to be signed by you only. Yes, love. I am expecting a parcel from the city today. Let the driver know that I should be there within half an hour or have them leave, and I will retrieve the parcel at their office. Honey, the driver said that he will return in an hour. How is Donald and the family? Mona, I really can't say right now. I guess they are still processing the situation. I can't believe it myself. Well, honey, I have the rest of the afternoon off. Would you like to get away for the day? I have some appointments that just can't be put off. We will talk more when I get there. I love you. 10 minutes after hanging up the phone, Mona notices that the delivery truck was still parked in front of the main gate. Not thinking anything of it because delivery trucks would usually wait for the wealthy. Special bulletin. There is an ongoing investigation involving a shooting this morning. We here at the station have uncovered that the shooting victim is Donald Bailey Jr. We will have more updates at 6. And we have just received confirmation via the mayor's office that Niles Zeal will be holding a press conference at 7 tonight. News 4 will keep you informed. Niles exits the highway near his home when he receives a call from Commissioner Cortez. Hello, Niles. Did you receive the folder? My wife just called and said that there was a package at my home which requires my signature. I am on my way there now. Niles, the mayor has scheduled a press conference for 7 tonight and you are expected to speak. Bill, this is not a black or white issue. This is a person who held onto a grudge, who just happens to be a cop. Open the folder as soon as possible, because we are going with the race card and your service is required. Page 4. Chapter 5. The Crossroad. Beep, beep, beep. The gate notification system rang out. Mona is filled with concern over the day's event. Walked into the main room to greet Niles, expecting him to enter at any moment. A loud pop she heard. Mona looked at the security monitor and, to her surprise, what looked like a movie scene being played out over a television screen were 2 men lifting Niles from off of the pavement and placing him into the same delivery van that was sitting at the front gate. I need police, state agencies, and a medical unit. Please help. My husband's been shot and they kidnapped him. Mona attempts to calm herself as the tension filled around her. What is your name, miss? What is your location? The operator said in a low tone. They just took him. He's in a delivery van with the R.S logo on it. They're heading towards Interstate 91. Please stop that truck. My husband is shot. Did you witness the shooting, miss? No, I heard a loud pop, and I thought that it was one of those loud cars with the funny mufflers. However, when I looked at the security monitor, I noticed two men in the yellow and black uniforms. They lifted my husband up by his hands and feet and placed him into the van and drove off. Where are the police? They're getting away. The yellow delivery truck turned left off Sims Road and then pulled into a commuter parking lot where a tractor trailer awaited. Then the van drove up the ramps and the men exited the trailer as Nate closed the door and the three men drove onto the interstate. The trailer traveled for about 5 miles before pulling into a gas station along the highway. All three men walked into the plaza to grab something to eat along their route. However, only Nate returned to the truck and back onto the interstate. The package has reached stage 2, Barry said over the call. Hanging up with no response, Barry and Randy followed the trailer from a distance. The package is ready for docking. The money has been transferred into the account on file. Dr. Roland Smith's brief words to a person on a secure line. Barry, proceed with the plan and we will contact you both after things blow over. The truck pulled into an industrial park where a black gentleman was standing next to a trucking dock. Off to one side was the building itself and on the other was personnel parking where a blue Charger is parked. We had to put one in him. No need to worry, it was only a flesh wound. He put up a fight. Nate hands the man the keys to the truck and walks towards his car. As Nate is driving, he notices that Barry and Randy were following him. Nate knowing that this was not the plan because he was the one who implemented it. Needing a safe place to pull over, Nate drove down a rural country road in Simsbury, Connecticut. Nate gets out of the car as Barry is standing next to the Honda Accord that he and Randy were in. Change in plans, Nate. We got a call from the higher-ups. Nate stops in his tracks and reaches for his phone. Randy, acting out prematurely, began firing at will, hitting Nate in the shoulder and one in the back as he ran to his car. Barry also retrieves his gun from behind his back and began to fire. Nate, bleeding and injured, swerved onto the road, driving frantically to get away. Speeding towards the train crossing, Nate just barely crossed as the train blocked the Honda's path, allowing Nate to escape his fate. Page 5. Chapter 6. Judgment Day. Wake up, coon boy, an assertive voice spoke out, due to blood loss and the tape covering his mouth. Niles was unconscious when he was handed over. Who are you? What do you want with me? I don't have a lot of money, but you can have whatever that I have available. Just please, I need a doctor, Niles said, now aware that his hands and feet were handcuffed to the chair. A loud thrash from a kick to the chest. Sellouts don't get sympathy. The man standing over Niles, dressed in all black with a mask, shouted. The door to the small room opened and another man entered the room and lifted the chair with Niles attached to it. Niles, my name is Dr. Smith, Dr. Roland Smith. However, you can refer to me as Death or the Devil, because my face will be the last face that you will ever see in this lifetime. Why, what did I do? I've never harmed anyone. Niles spoke in a submissive voice, realizing that this was not about money or a kidnapping. I think that the right question should be, who am I? As the doctor opened a case with strange devices inside and placed the devices onto the table. Niles, I am a certified doctor who specializes in torture. Something that I enjoy doing. I feel that there is no greater blessing. Doctor, I don't think that this is a blessing but a curse. As a tear dropped from his eye, Niles, the man in the mask, is a representative of the people in which you have wronged. So, would you mind if he records our session? There is a list of questions which I am required to ask along your journey. I like to be inclusive with my patients and I value their opinions. Are you serious? Niles looked down at his waist as his blood-soaked clothing began leaking onto the floor. Now taking note of his surroundings, Niles noticed the empty room with only the chair and a table. Then he remembered what felt like a coat hanger underneath him when he landed onto the floor. "Sir, he got away, but we are on it." Barry spoke unassured. "What? You botched it up?" The unknown voice shouted in anger. "Sir, he has 2 bullets in him, and the chest wound means that he will be looking for a doctor. We are going to need assistance from the Brotherhood. Barry, you and Randy are to report to the council for further instruction." The phone went dead. "Randy, you really fucked this up. Why did you have to jump the gun when we had him right where we wanted him?" "Because this guy is Special Forces Barry. I didn't know what he was reaching for when his hands went into his pockets. I told you that I should have got out of the car with you. Then I would have heard the conversation." Randy shifting the blame. "Nathaniel Hunter, what do I owe the pleasure? And why are you parked behind my house?" The voice was that of a female. "Kimberly, I need for you to remove 2 bullets lodged in my chest and back," Nate said with a grimace. "Let's get you inside. Can you walk?" "I thought that you were done with the military," Kim said with concern. "No, Kimberly, this was not military. This was the BIS, Brotherhood of the Iron Sepulchre," Nate said with hate and anger in his eyes. "Come on, Nathaniel, just a few more steps." Kimberly grabbed a sheet from a closet. Then she cleared off the dining. Nate laid down onto the table. Page 6. Chapter 7. Morals for Sale. The mayor, commissioner, and the lead detectives sat in the commissioner's office going over the video footage, statements gathered, and the evidence collected from Sims Road, as the mayor's public relations department was downstairs in front of City Hall addressing the 2 high-profile events, which has left the families and victims with no answers. The time was now 6:20 p.m., and the public began to fill the lawn in front of the podium around the town green. "Yes, acting on behalf of the mayor's office, we will offer where we are at in regard to the investigations of both cases. Then we will be taking questions from representatives from news sources and from community leaders." Brunette with wire-framed glasses, sleek business suit, attaché case, and expensive shoes, she stood about 6'2". So far, our investigators interviewed various witnesses regarding Donald Bailey Jr. unfortunate situation. Our prayers and that of our whole community are with the family. Many people here tonight come in search of justice to ask those responsible for the abduction of Niles Zeal that he be returned safely. He is a family man, a pastor, a community leader who has always come to the aid of this great city. Last, before I answer questions, Officer Kramer has been placed on administrative leave pending the information and evidence. However, the great Mayor Elito is with the commissioner as this press conference is commencing. He is going over the procedures for dismissal. "Hello, Donald. The state police with the forensic team just left, and I haven't had time to breathe. How are you and Tammy, the kids?" "Holding up. Mona, I was going to call you. I'm glad that you did. We need to come together. Can you drive, or I could ask Tammy to pick you up?" Donald spoke in a firm voice. "Is she home now? I could drive there now. I really don't want to be alone right at this moment." Mona holding herself together. "We need to meet at City Hall as soon as possible. The P.4.S.F. People for Sexual Freedom and the Mount Baptist Calvary are down on the green with racial signs and signs calling for peace. I'm not going to allow this city to divert this situation. I can only speak for my family. However, these groups have been offered the right to speak upon both of our families. This is why it is important to get down there. Donald, I'm in the car now. I'm going to park in the undergarage. Mona, take your time and drive safely. My security team is there already. They will bring you up to speed until we arrive." The call ended. "Bill, I am going to need you to remove Officer Kramer from the force. He went rogue, and there is no easy solution to this." Mayor Elito said loud enough for the whole room to have heard. "My department will not seek an arrest," one of the detectives voiced. "I do not believe that it is your decision to make." The mayor points to a monitor with the evidence from the Sims Road kidnapping. "What has the public cam system offered?" Regarding the suspects, we managed to capture the home footage, 2 men in masks dressed in delivery uniforms. Forensics are working on some fibers and a bullet removed from a tree. The cameras lost track of the van once it turned onto Blue Hills Avenue. There's a small commuter lot near the I-91 on-ramp. It was reported that the cameras were not working properly, so their footage is grainy. However, we sent the materials to the feds. If something can be found, they are that good, the detective said confidently. Page 7. Chapter 8. Trials and Tribulations. Rise and shine, mister. The doctor is in. How is my new patient today? Dr. Smith pulls the duct tape that covered Niles' eyes. A loud scream in agony as his eyelashes and eyebrows remained adhered to the tape. Your good friend here and his associates were kind enough to bring you into my office. He said that you were feeling some discomfort. Well, you came to the right place. Have I got a treatment plan for you? However, we need to begin with some simple examination questions like, do you or someone in your family have high blood pressure? The doctor smiled as he placed latex gloves over his hands, inserting one finger into the hole that penetrated Niles' side where the bullet went through the tissue cleanly. Ow, please stop. I haven't done anything to anyone. Please, my family. The doctor removed his finger, and Niles, now on the brink of losing consciousness. Yes, Niles, your family, why not begin with family history first? Do you see it now, Mr. Zeal, inclusive? I just knew that we could work together. Now, be absolute in your answers because I will not ask you twice. In the event of an undesirable response, well, now that we have the formalities out of the way, Mr. Zeal, where is the safe? The safe is in my home. I can open it for you. Please, if money is all that you want. Niles pleads. That one was on me, Niles. There is a safe in your home, so you are being truthful. However, you know exactly what safe that we inquire. So, allow me to perform a simple skin test. The doctor reaches for a sheet of paper as if to write something down. Paper in hand, the doctor stands beside Niles with the sheet of paper held to his face. You. See, Niles, what determines a perfectionist from a surgeon is this piece of paper. A surgeon needs an instrument to make a cut. A perfectionist can use a simple sheet of paper. The doctor held the sheet on a specific manner and slid the sheet along Niles' face, causing laceration. Niles screamed louder and louder. Ting! On a metal plate, a small piece of lead made the sound as it fell upon the dish. A dining room table turned into a makeshift operating room. With the last bullet being removed from Nate's shoulder, semi-conscious Nate desperately focuses on Kimberly, drifts into unconsciousness. I hope that you can hear me, Nate. I removed 2 bullets successfully. However, you've lost a lot of blood. At this point, the only way to save your life is to locate someone with your blood type. I need to get to my office. Stay with me, Nate. Kimberly kissed Nate on his forehead, grabbed her purse and the note that Nate handed to her when she assisted him from the car. She parks the Dodge in the garage and drives to the office. The glass doors opened, and a voice greeted the doctor. Good evening, Dr. Ross. Is everything okay? Or did something come up at the last minute? The receptionist voiced concern. No, Darla, everything is fine. I need a patient's file. Kimberly walks into her office and scrolls through her Rolodex and begins to make calls. As she reads the note, pick up, throw away cell phone, case of beer, blood typo. The note brought a smile to Kimberly's face. She crumpled up the note, tossing it, she thought. That's Nate for you. Page 8. Chapter 9. 2 weeks later. The city of Hartford officer Craven terminated, plastered all over social media and news outlets. The African American community did not protest, while confronting organizations such as the F.4.S.F. and the Mount Baptist Calvary from capitalizing on this tragic event while dividing the black community in the process. The media stopped coverage on the 2 high-profile cases when the Bailey and Zeal family interrupted the mayor's press conference. Niles Zeal, lying on a cold floor, handcuffed to the same chair, had suffered electrocution on the day prior, left in the same position after falling unconscious. Cuts, bruises, and swellings covered his body as his eyes could barely open. Knowing that his demise was imminent, he knew that he needed to do something. Niles knew that what was in that safe wasn't money, and he also knew exactly who was responsible for this act. Donald Bailey Sr., a lifelong friend and someone that Niles helped turn his gang life into a community organization which assists and provides services to at-risk youths as a part of a Children of the New Dawn. Niles, reaching for the coat hanger that lay beneath him, attempts to break a piece of the metal to try to free himself. What felt like an hour's passing was only minutes, his fingers bled scraping against the cold concrete. No room for movement due to the position of his body, a bone snapped, holding back the pain to not draw attention to his captors. Niles took the piece of metal and inserted it into the wound that had pierced him. The door opens and the man in the mask wheels into the room, a cart with a television monitor on it. Good news, Niles. The doctor is performing surgery on someone else, so he won't be here today. Just you and me. I hope that you have an appetite. That jaw looks broken. You know, he really is a doctor with a PhD. He said that you needed a break, so let me help you up and then you can watch some entertainment. The man said with a laugh as he clicks the remote. Then the man notices the coat hanger on the floor, picks it up, and walks out of the room. The monitor reads News 4 at 6. The video began to play. This has been going on for far too long. My name is Donald Bailey Sr., and standing beside me is Mona Zeal, the wife of Niles Zeal. We are thankful for the love and support of our community, friends, family, and law enforcement. As a parent, my child's life was cut short, and I am also a close friend to Niles Zeal and to his wife and family. He and I have been friends since childhood. I would also ask that the community ignore organizations such as the F.4.S.F. and the Mount Baptist Calvary in attendance here tonight. My son Donald Bailey Jr.'s life was not cut short due to racism or brutality. Niles Zeal has been abducted, and we are here to plead to the captors that he be released safely. Both families agree that the public should allow law enforcement to do their jobs without biased distraction. If you or anyone that you know has any information that might be helpful, please contact your local police department, or you can leave the information in an email on childrenoftheNewDawn.org. There you can also receive updates in real time. Thank you all for coming out in support. The monitor repeated the same video clip over and over, ending each time with a security team of over 50 soldiers from the movement escorting the families away from the venue. Page 9. Chapter 10. Reality and Greed. Your wounds are healing, and you should regain full mobility in a few days. Luckily, the bullet that entered through your chest lodged into your shoulder. Kimberly removes the damp towel from Nate's forehead. Nate extends a hand, encompassing Kimberly's as a sign of thanks and gratitude. This was not the first time that Kimberly had saved the life of Nathaniel Hunter. Nate accepted a covert contract in Crimea, Ukraine in May of 2022. The mission retrieved Dmytro Koval, first in command of the Brothers of the Iron Sepulchre. It was during the night raid that freed the self-proclaimed leader of the Aryan race. Nate was wounded, and Dr. Kimberly Ross was working with the medevac unit on the USS Bolton, where Nate was taken for treatment. Nate reached for the cell phone and dialed 00054900185*** and pressed send. Update file. Presently not active. Civilian status compromised. Please hold. The computer generated. Message requested. Agent 957 status revoked. A55G1A. Silence. The cell phone screen began to flicker and heat up. Nate placed the phone into the glass of water that sat on the nightstand. Something was very different in his demeanor. Nate, I hope that was good news, Kimberly said with a reassuring smile. Kim, my brothers have turned their backs on me. I am on borrowed time, Kim. Nate understood. A55G1A. This code not only informed Nate of offense, location, and the parties or party that initiated the request. Nate slowly arose from the bed as Kimberly tried to stop him. Nate, you are in no condition to move around. Your body needs time to heal. Kim, I need my clothes. Where are they? The clothes covered in blood? See how far that will take you. Kimberly attempting to make light out of the moment. I picked up a pair of outfits for you and your beer, even though clothes were not on your list. Here you go, Nathaniel. Thanks, Kim, I need a shovel. As Kimberly placed one pant leg, then the other. Mona Zeal, trying her best to assist the authorities in locating her husband, was stressed. The kidnappers have yet to make any demands or contact. The agents reassure Mona to remain positive. With everything that has taken place, Mona hadn't had time to review the mail, something that she handled each month when she paid the bills due. There in the pile of mail was an envelope with the return address mayor's office. Was this the package that Niles awaited? And how did the delivery service that showed up at our home know this? Now realizing that there may be something more to this, she opened the pouch. Therein a check drawn out to Niles Zeal/Charity House in the amount of $40,000 and no cents. Mona had never heard of Charity House, nor had Niles ever made any mention in their 20 years of marriage. However, she would know that this kidnapping was something much deeper and sinister. Not knowing how far or who the players were involved, Mona kept this information to herself while praying for a positive outcome. Niles, bruised and battered, continued to jimmy one of the handcuffs to free himself. Whenever he caught a break from the torture, awaiting the sound of a click to set him free. How's my patient today? Well, you're looking better. There will be no more treatment. Tomorrow I will check on your progress, and you will be free to leave, the doctor said sarcastically. Page 10. Chapter 11. The Reckoning. The realization of knowing everything that he was a part, the years of loyalty unquestioned. His opinions and perspectives, he was influenced through years of brainwashing. Now events that were overlooked through trust faded and anger had set in. Kim, I'm going to need another throwaway, Nate said as he peered through the front window. Sure, Nate, it works because I did not make lunch. So, I'll pick something up for us. Kimberly kissed Nate, picked up her keys and headed out the door. Nate slowly walking into the back of the house, grabbing a shovel from the tool shed and over to a flower bed. About 3 feet into the soil, a large gray duffel bag he removed. Nate cleared off the kitchen table and placed the bag atop. First out of the bag was an envelope containing gold coins and $100,000 in cash with passports and identifications. Sniper rifle AR-15, throwing knives, wire cabling, night vision goggles, 2 gas canisters and 2 9mm handguns along with silencers and ammo. While cleaning the weapons, Kimberly returns to her surprise, finding that her flower bed had been dug. Gardening now, are we? Kim makes light of the situation. I'm sorry about the yard, Kim, but I needed someone that I could trust. Nate removes $30,000, then hands it to her. I don't need your money, Nate. However, I would like to know if you will be okay. With all this artillery, it doesn't look good. Do you need my help? As Kim places the food on the counter. No blacks was our motto, our law, while they were working alongside of them the whole time. I was shot by 2 of what I thought were brothers. However, it was the Brotherhood that ordered my death. I'm so sorry, Nate. Does this mean that they will continue to come after you? Mona voiced concern. No, I'm going after them, Nate said emphatically. Nate, are you sure? Can't you just go to the police? Nate laughs and chuckles. Kimberly, the Brotherhood is in every school, hospital, and law enforcement. There is nowhere in which I would be safe. What are your plans? Something that I thought that I would never do or say. I'm going to free Niles Zeal. For Kimberly, the weight of the situation became real. What she feared most became true. Nathaniel Hunter was directly involved with the kidnapping of Niles Zeal. Nate, How do you know if he is still alive? Kimberly understood that 2 weeks had passed since the abduction. He's alive because of the organization that is holding him. These people are looking for a safe. The information in that safe is a death sentence for him. Niles Seal accepted money for sabotaging growth within his Children of the New Dawn organization. Are you saying that he was working against his own people? Kimberly said in disbelief. Nate, if your life was not in danger, I tell you to leave him right where he is. Kim said adamantly, I will be leaving as soon as the night comes. The two sat down for lunch and a movie. She kissed him on the cheek and took his hand, leading him into the bedroom where the two had sex throughout the day and partially into the night. As Kimberly stood by the kitchen back door, Nate placed all that he would need into the blue Charger, walked back into the house giving Kimberly a kiss with a hug and a cell phone. This number is preset, press Sensei Ranch, then hang up. I love you, Kim. I will be in contact with you once this is over. I love you, Nate. You can do this. Page 11. Chapter 12. There are no winners. Frantically fidgeting with a lock on the handcuff, one of his hands slipped out of a cuff. Blood permeating his arms and hands, the secretion acted as a lubricant. When the door opens, 3 men walk into the room and turn off the monitor. Niles, you don't look so good. Where is the safe? If you don't answer, I will end you myself. A tall, athletic gentleman said. Why Don? Niles asked. At the same time, a blue Charger was driving off-road through the trees and thick brush with the lights off. In the cover of darkness, Nate makes his way around the compound, strategically placing traps and weapons in various locations. He points the sniper rifle towards the entrance await. Don, please man, you know that I have a family, and we just lost Donald Jr. to senseless. You can stop this man, please, Don. Niles hoping that there was still something left to their friendship. As Donald places a hard slap on Niles' face. Don't ever let my son's name come out of your mouth. You lost that right. Even if my son were still alive, you would still be sitting in that chair. So how long were you on the payroll, Niles? Look, Don, I'm going to be honest with you. When I brought the movement into New Dawn, we didn't have the resources to add the much-needed addition to building or repairs. Back when the Thompson shooting happened and the city was in an uproar, the mayor's office contacted me. I was asked if I could continuously reiterate that Thompson was a drug dealer. It would take the pressure off the police department. I was paid $25,000, and Don, you know firsthand that every dollar was spent in that building. From it, we have established a program that has made our community better and stronger. Nate pleading with himself, with no sympathy in the room to be found except his own. A motorcycle makes a distant sound as it races towards the wood gates to enter the ranch. Not far behind the motorcycle is a white Jeep Grand Cherokee. The driver, Barry Kennard. Nate places the night vision goggles into his jacket and looks through the sniper's scope. A screech and then a crash after the motorcycle went airborne. Randy Chambers traveled straight into the wiring set by Nate. The Jeep pulls over. Barry, holding a firearm, canvasses the area, cautiously making his way to Randy, who was somehow still alive. Both was the sound of a silenced projectile dislodged from the rifle, striking Barry in the head, knocking him backwards off from his feet. Spotlights emanated the compound, and 10 men, 2 dogs, began to spread out around the compound in search of the intruders. One of the men opened the door to the room Niles was being held and shouted, "We got trouble, Nate is here." Dr. Smith turned white as snow because he knew that Nate had come for him. "Doc, let's go, we need to get you to safety," the young man said in a panic. Dr. Smith took the assault rifle from the young man and spoke. "Watch him, you two follow me. Nathaniel knows this whole mountain like the back of his hand. I trained him here as a teenager. We are going to end him. Once this is over, you will end him." Looking directly at Donald Sr., he and the man with the mask made their way outside. Then 3 shots fired, and 3 bodies fell into the dirt. "Oh, if I forgot to mention on the way out, our guy is Special Forces trained, so tread lightly." Dr. Smith sounded excited with envious admiration. 12. Chapter 13. The Truth. The two German shepherd barking and panting erratically after attempting to sniff out the remnants of the lunch that Nate and Kim shared earlier in the day. There once the dogs began sniffing a tripwire set off the gas canisters, incapacitating the two dogs. Gunshot after gunfire, the men fell to Nate's superior training. As the action got near to where Niles was being held, the young man panicked and ran, leaving Niles alone in the room with the door wide open. Nate knew that this was his only opportunity to make it out alive. Nate once more peering through the scope, and only two men left, intentionally. But just then he takes notice of a young man no more than possibly 17 years old. Nate put his head down in shame, because at one time he was that teen. Nate allowed the young man to escape and waited for the youth to gain some distance before he would set his sights back upon the two men, one of which he would confront before Nate would send him to the other side. "Over here," Donald yelled out, as he saw a figure pointing a rifle beside a tree. Donald ran towards the figure behind the tree, firing as he went. "Hey, you idiot! I told you to." Both. Another kill shot, and Donald Bailey Sr. fell to the ground. "Just you and me, Nate. You done good, son." Dr. Smith lays down his weapon and draws a knife from his belt, awaiting the challenge. Nate was now positioned behind him, walking out of the brush. "You and your organization. You piece of shit. I believed in the cause. I trusted you. But this was never about race, this was about power and control. You used all of us, and today I will expose this organization for what it is. Bullshit." Niles slides the last shackle under the leg of the chair, finally freed, yet his legs were weak. After 2 weeks of not walking, Niles crawled up the stairs and through the front door that had been left open because of the commotion. "What are you waiting for, Nate? Let's get this over with," Dr. Smith said anxiously. One shot from Nate's handgun rang out and a loud scream was heard. "Dr. Smith, when you sat at that fish market awaiting the package, you knew then what your plans were. Tell me, how was it supposed to go down? I mean, those two assholes by the gate over there could mess up a wet dream. Nate, you were to be bought here, to me. Oh well, maybe next time?" Dr. Smith said confidently. "I want the code for the bunker." Nate placed a bullet into the opposite leg, and another loud scream filled the mountain. "Next one will be in one of your hands. That's a career change if you ask me." Okay. 39-36, 7. Dr. Smith hoping to get away with his life. A shot rang out, whizzing past Nate and Dr. Smith. It was Niles lying on the ground, crawling toward Dr. Smith. "Shoot that nigger," Dr. Smith demanded of Nate. "No problem." Nate is now standing above Dr. Smith, and a sound rang out, and Dr. Smith was no more. Nate emptied every file found in the bunker, along with recordings and business transactions. Also, contracts, arrests, and confidential information given to authorities leading to convictions of members of the Brotherhood. Niles also took accountability for his actions. Nate brought Niles to Kimberly, where he would heal from his injuries. Together, the two would collaborate on exposing corruption within our society, designed to keep the people divided while profiting from it. The video was released and went viral on social media before it was shut down. Niles returned to his wife and family, and Nathaniel Hunter vanished as if he never existed. Page 13.